What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to SMITE Meta Casual News. In today's episode, it's all about this massive patch. We have new skins, we have new controversies, we basically have new gods, all that and a little bit more. Once again, my name is FG3000, you're you, and here comes the news. First up in patch news, let's talk about a future patch. Now, the next upcoming god to Smite will be Sylvanas, and I, for one, could not be more excited about this god. Now, let me tell you a little something about FG3000 when it comes to playing MMOs, which have nothing to do with Smite, but bear with me for a second. So when I play MMOs, I always gravitate towards the characters that can use nature as a weapon. You know, casting roots, turning into bears and wolves. I play druids in World of Warcraft and EverQuest 2 and all that good stuff, so I am super excited to see how this god turns out. So high res, please don't let me down. But that's gonna do it for Sylvanas. Of course, I'll keep you posted as we know more information. Next topic. Alright, so let's talk about all these brand new skins that we've received. Now, Pixel Buster Freya, I think this skin goes without saying. You probably already purchased it. You don't need me to tell you how good it is, but I will say this. This is the second skin in the Odyssey. Only the second skin. There's tons more to come. We know there's an announcer pack coming. We know there's frames. We know, of course, there's more skins, background music. I'm sure there's going to be some type of map update. This Odyssey is going to be huge, and I'm just going to go on record right now. $2 million tournament. It's going to be at least a $2 million tournament. We're already well on our way to 800,000, and this is only the fourth item in total. That is insane, and there's a ton more to go. And if Pixel Buster Freya is any indication, I'm sure there are a lot of amazing skins that Hi-Rez is waiting to come out with. So, Pixel Buster Freya, amazing model, even better sound effects, a great voice pack. It went above and beyond. This is a steal for 600 gems. Like, the level up animations, the level up sounds, I mean, everything about this skin, it is literally a steal. If you haven't picked it up, you need to. Even if you don't play Freya, it's time to practice. Next skin. Now we're gonna skip over Bacchus here for a second because he deserves a segment all by himself. Now let's talk about Classy Fenrir first. Now, data mining has found out that Classy Fenrir is coming. I anticipate he comes in the next patch because his voice pack is already complete. His model is already complete. I can't anticipate him being delayed for any reason. So we should see Classy Fenrir in the next patch. So far what I've seen, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's Fenrir with a top hat. It's not exactly Pixel Buster Freya, but we can't knock them all out of the park. So be prepared for Classy Fenrir in the next patch. Oh, Bacchus. Now, before we talk about the controversy behind this skin, let's just talk about the skin itself. This is actually a really well done skin. It really ups the quality on Bacchus, which is one of the older gods in the game. Obviously, it is inspired by Elvis Presley, the King, the later years. Voice pack comes with the skin, so once again, Hi-Rez gives you some of the best deals in the industry. Now, I know a lot of people give Hi-Rez a lot of crap for being greedy, but getting free voice packs for these premium skins is something that I think we've taken for granted because it's just the way it's been for so long. But I tell you, they could easily charge for these premium voice packs, and they don't. So I'm really happy that, like I said, we always get these free voice packs when we already own the default voice pack. So very good on Hi-Rez. Alright, that's enough praise. Let's talk about this controversy. So, the only way to purchase this skin is out of the treasure chest. So you have to buy the treasure chest for a random gamble to get this skin. So if you are a Bacchus player, this is your main, you don't really have a lot of things unlocked on your account, the chances of you getting this skin are very low. So I really understand where they're coming from. They're basically saying, hey, Hi-Rez, I have money, just give me the skin. I don't want to gamble for it, I just want to pay you straight up, give me the skin. So trust me, I understand that side of the argument. Now, on the flip side is this. There are a bunch of players out there that just want to have something that's exclusive, something that not a lot of players have access to. And the only way to make something more exclusive is to limit it. That's literally the only way you can do it. So Hi-Res wants to have skins that are more prestigious and more rare. The only way they can do that is by limiting it. I mean, so I understand that viewpoint as well, but then I'm gonna flip it on you a little bit. What about Poseidon? Right? I always hear the argument about the guy that mains Bacchus and he can't get his favorite skin. What about the guy that mains Poseidon and he can't get Poseidon because he just started the game? What about him? So if you step back and look at that objectively, the guy that plays Poseidon, he will never ever be able to play Poseidon. He'll never ever get that skin. So in reality, timed exclusives are actually worse. At least if Poseidon was in the treasure chest, one day he could probably get lucky and get the skin, but with timed exclusives, he'll never get them. But it seems that we're okay with timed exclusives. I'm asking you guys the question because like I said, I am really torn. Where do you draw the line when it comes to exclusivity? Should everyone have access to every skin that Hi-Res makes? Or should there be things that leave people out in an effort to make the skin more prestigious, more exclusive? That's my question to you. Like I said, I am really torn because I don't have a good answer. I don't have a black and white, this is the way it should be, this is wrong, because it is such a gray topic. But I will say this, it's really good on Hi-Res that they remove the special and dance emotes out of the loot tables for the treasure chest. So it doesn't make it as hard to get the Bacchus skin. But like I said, if you don't have a lot of things unlocked in your account, you're not gonna get that Bacchus skin on the first try, or maybe you will. That's the thing about gambling. You can get it on your first try, or you can get it on your 100th try. But that's all I really have to say about this skin nonsense. Next topic. All right, now let's talk about these three kinda sorta brand new gods we received this patch. Now we all know that Kuang is temporarily going away. He will come back in the game at a later date with a brand new model, brand new voice pack, brand new abilities. But in the meantime, his kit has been transferred to Kuku, is what I'm going to call him because it's just easier. I really like Kuku. Now his voice pack, it took a little while to grow on me, but now I'm starting to really like it. His model is large, aggressive, angry. So I, for one, I don't miss the old noodle at all, but to all those Kuang fans, you still have Sacred Dragon, which will retain his old voice pack, so you can still spam celebration all you want. And this was a really good move. Hopefully they do things like this as much as they possibly can in the future when they remodel and redo gods. Let us have a voice pack, or let us have a little bit of that old god that we can play. I wish they could have did it with New WoW, but the way they did it with Kuang, it was very seamless because Sacred Dragon just kind of fits that voice pack. Nothing with New WoW really fits, so I understand why they couldn't do it with New WoW and Kali and stuff like that. So as long as they're conscious of this, as long as they try to strive for this kind of stuff, I'm all for it. Next god. All right, now let's talk about Odin. Now, when we first saw him revealed, we didn't have any damage or mana usage numbers, so a lot of us were like, wow, he's weaker than he was before. Now seeing his damage and seeing his mana usage and seeing his passive with the 5 physical protection, now we know the hardcore numbers. He's a little bit better than I thought he was going to be. He's going to be a pretty solid solo laner. His clear is very aggressive. You can't really be in the lane. It's almost like Hades all over again. If you remember Hades before his nerf, you couldn't get anywhere near the minions because he would take about a third of your life every minion wave. It seems that Odin is almost the same way. You kind of hang out a little bit, you time your leap in your shield explosion. You can punish any type of character that needs to be in the minion wave to clear it. So that is going to be very interesting. I can definitely see that being nerfed, and if that gets nerfed, we'll see Odin fall right back down by the wayside again. So that's Odin. His ring, the jury is still out on his ring. So Hi-Res fundamentally changed his ring. So it's no longer, the old ring was a jousting ring, like a dueling ring. You came in there, it was one-on-one versus the great one. Now it's more of, hey, team, everyone gather up in my ring. Let's try to burn down this team fight or burn down this character. It's more of a team fight, more of a safe ultimate. So we'll see how it pans out. I really don't like the fact that he lost all his CC immunity while in the ring. So being able to get stunned, being able to get knocked up, being able to be slowed. And for all those reasons, I really dislike Odin's ultimate because he is the only god in the game that if he nails his ultimate, think about it, put me on the spot. Think about all the gods in the game. If you nail their ultimates, you get the effect of the ultimate. Now, if Odin nails his ultimate, he traps people inside, it's not over. He still has to do things, right? He still has to chase people down. He still has to avoid stuns. He still has to avoid damage. His ultimate didn't do really anything, even though he nailed it perfectly. And he's the only guy in the game like that. He's the only guy in the game with a downside ultimate. And I don't really like it. And I was hoping they would change it, but they didn't. So with all that being said, Odin's ultimate, in my opinion, is still regulated to keeping people out of the Gold Fury and out of the Fire Giant and off of towers. And that's about it. But that's my opinion. Love to hear yours. Next god. Oh, Arachne, welcome back. Now, I'm a little disappointed. Now, in my last video, I said that they touched up her model a little bit, but I just haven't played Arachne in a while. Her model's exactly the same. I was hoping that maybe at least they would give her the Ares treatment a little bit, but no such luck. So her model is exactly the same. Her voice pack is exactly the same, which is a good thing. Her kit is dramatically different. Now, at first, I was a little sad that Kukulkan was gone. Kukulkan is just one of those abilities that just feels so good to connect with. But the problem with that is that was her only ability that was any good. So Arachne had to be redone, and in my opinion, it was for the better. Now, I'm still a little iffy on the fact that she has a double steroid. Her number 1 gives her life steal. Her number 2 is really good. I just think that maybe they could have did something different with her 1, but she is now 100% an auto attack focused god, and her number 2 solidifies that. So you pop your 2, you get 3 attacks, you turn them into a cocoon, which is really, really awesome. And I really like the fact that they took her old kit, they took her broodlings, they took her web, and they basically combined them into one ability. That's her new number 3. So you can shoot out your web. If somebody walks into it, they get attacked by spiders, they pull the web if they start running through it, allowing you to get even more movement speed if you follow directly behind them. That is one really, really good ability. Not only is it good on paper, not only is it good in function, but it's good in lore as well. Like, that is probably one of the better abilities that Hi-Res has put in the game in a long time. So kudos to the number 3. Now, her ultimate, we may or may not see nerfed in the future, but you jump on top of the non-existent ceiling. You're up there for 8 seconds. You can run around. You can pounce down on people. You can use it as an initiate. You can use it as an escape. Really, really quality ability. This is 100% an upgrade to the old Arachne. So I know a lot of people out there are going to miss old Arachne, but the only thing you really miss is Kukulkan. Let's be honest. Kukulkan was really all she had. So I, for one, welcome our new Arachne Overlord. Let's get on to the next part of the show. Now, as you all know, this is SMITE Meta Casual News. It's just a news show. We don't go into every single detail of every single change in the patch. So let's do some rapid fire topics, shall we? First things first. Now let's discuss this worshiper nerf first. Now, if you're not familiar, Conquest has always been the place to be if you wanted to grind up legendaries and diamonds. This gave you the most worshippers per minute and the most worshippers per win. All the other modes were below Conquest. Now, what did Hi-Res do? Instead of boosting up all the other modes to be equal to Conquest, they brought down all the other modes to be equal to Siege and Arena. So now Conquest is on par with all the other modes. I, for one, don't agree with this because you can obviously get more games in other modes than you can in Conquest. Typically, if you play a Conquest, you're probably going to get only about 2 games an hour on average. All the other modes, you can at least get 3, 4, maybe even more on average per hour. So I don't really understand that nerf. I wish they would have just brought up all the modes to be equal to Conquest if they wanted to have it all even. Don't know why they brought everybody down. In my opinion, that is a mistake. Next topic. So let's talk about a couple of these new items we received as well. So we have the Odysseus bow. My preliminary review of this item is this: too much attack speed, not enough anything else. I think the attack speed and the passive are very, very interesting on paper, but that attack speed doesn't really do a lot for other characters. You got to be really creative with the way you use it. You're going to have to sell it because it really doesn't do anything for your character once you get out of the laning phase. So in my opinion, you skip this item. Maybe very rarely you might use it on Shibbolangate, but even then I don't think it's a good idea. So in my opinion, that is a skip. Our brand new helmets are really, really cool. The first item is the Dynasty Plate Helmet. This is a very good item. I really, really like this because not only does it give you magic power, it gives you physical protection. So now you have a choice, right? Typically, if you're a mage and you need to get some physical protection, the best place for you to get that is the Breastplate of Valor, because not only does it give you physical protection, it gives you mana and it gives you CDR, which a lot of people don't realize that is basically a flat boost in DPS. If you're able to cast more abilities, your DPS goes up. So Breastplate of Valor is still a very, very good pickup, but now you have an alternative, magic power, physical protection, and then you get the penetration. Myself, I would still probably still pick up Breastplate of Valor, but in different instances, depending on how far I am ahead and depending on what's happening in the game, I can see the Destiny Plate Helmet being a pickup. Now the Celestial Plate Helmet, now this is a great item. 40 magical damage, 50 physical protection, and if you are crit, you cannot be crit again for the next 3 seconds, and you gain 40 magic power. Wow, what a bloated item. This item is fantastic. I am so happy that it does not work on Nija, but that doesn't mean anything. This is still a great item. With so many characters in the game that have to stack crits, wow, you owe yourself this item if you're playing some type of Guardian role, or, you know, in some cases, maybe a tanky mage like Zhong Kui or something like that. It really depends on how the game is going, but Celestial Legion Helmet, definitely a pickup. Dynasty Plate Helmet, kind of iffy, really depends on what type of direction that the game is going into. And Odysseus Bow, I say you skip it. That's it for the items. Next segment. And the final part of our show, let's discuss some of these nerfs and buffs that our gods have received. Now, first up is Aphrodite. Her kiss got nerfed. Why? Why was her kiss nerfed? This is probably one of the clunkiest abilities in the game to use. If you're not familiar, in the game before, if you kiss someone, you didn't trigger your cooldown. The only time you triggered your cooldown is if you kissed the air or if you kissed an enemy god. That was the only times. Now, even when you kiss your allies, you get a 3-second cooldown. Why? Why was that necessary? It's already a nightmare to try to kiss your teammates in the heat of a team fight. I don't understand this nerf in any way. But hey, at least Guan Yu was buffed. They have dramatically reduced the cooldown on his conviction, which is basically his heal. It used to be 14 seconds, now it's 10 seconds. That is huge. They've also reduced the mana cost across the board. I'm really liking that change on conviction. Also, they have buffed Talu Assault. So he strips your physical protection, he strips your magic protection, and all of those protections go right on top of Guan Yu. So in my opinion, that is a huge buff to Guan Yu. He might just be back. All you people out there that got convention skins for the Guan Yu and you treated it like it was basically trash, dig that card out of the garbage can, apply it to your account, because Guan Yu just might be back. However, there's another god that's probably gone. His name is Hubwa. Water Canyon has been basically gutted at this point. It no longer slows when it knocks up enemies. It's also, the damage has been reduced pretty dramatically. Hebo is such a good range mage, and he's also a really good melee mage. And I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but the fact that his cooldowns are so short, if you're in melee range of Hebo, you're going to take the full brunt of his passive, his magic power, all of his abilities, his knockups, his slows. So Hebo is still strong, but it brings him down to reality just a little bit. Now, Hebo, I know you're a god, but come on, man. Just bring it down a notch. Now, the next god on the nerfing block, the one and only Hercules, and I myself, I'm pretty biased. I'm glad he's getting nerfed. Now, his nerf comes to his mitigate wounds. Before, he was able to regen 110% of the damage he took. So, to keep the number simple, if you did 100 damage to Hercules, he would regen 110 damage, or 110 health. Now, it's 90. So, if you do 100 damage to Hercules, he's only gonna regen 90 points of health back. So, a slight nerf. I hope to see a little bit more. Hercules is such an aggressive, in your face, can't kill me, I'll kill you type of god. I still think he's overpowered. This is a good way to bring him down just a little bit, but I think more tweaking needs to be done. And I like the way Hi-Res is doing it, because they're not completely gutting him. They're taking him down little by little each patch to get to a place where he needs to be. Right now, he's still too powerful. Kali was also buffed, but in my opinion, it wasn't really that big of a buff. Now, sure, the damage on her ultimate has gone up, and that is a flat buff that cannot be argued, but the damage that increased on her lash is basically because they want her to clear jungle camps a little bit faster and try to help her secure some early game kills to get her kin size faster, because kin size are more expensive. So in essence, she's the same Kali as before when kin size were cheaper. They only did this to try to help her get some more kills early game. So in my opinion, she's pretty much the same god as she was, but she does have a little bit more damage on her ultimate. But all in all, Kali is still a late game god. If your game doesn't go past the 20-minute mark, you're simply just not getting the full power of Kali. So all in all, I think she's pretty much in the same spot. There are better picks if you're going to be jungling. Also, Kukulkan has received quite a few buffs. If you're a Kukulkan player, I suggest going to read the patch notes yourself because every single one of his abilities has been increased in some way. Most notably, his tectonic shift. The little rock pillars no longer have health. They actually take hits to destroy. So at the max rank, they'll take 6 hits to destroy, and you can no longer use abilities. So the days of using Apollo's, the moves and just busting through the rocks, those days are over. You have to use basic attacks, and you have to use a set number of attacks to break through them. So all in all, Kukulkan has received a ton of buffs, so I'm looking forward to actually playing him now because he actually looks like a pretty decent god. And last but not least, when it comes to the buffs and the nerfs, some mysterious god got an ability called Mysterious Fog nerfed. Pretty dramatic. At the top end level, it goes from 250 damage down to 150. That's a big deal to whoever that god is. And that's gonna do it for SMITE Meta Casual News. What a long episode. The last part was supposed to be rapid fire. I guess I just can't do rapid fire. I might as well just give up. But once again, my name is FG3000. You have been you. And that, my friends, was the news.